time zone, everybody here. Welcome to the fourth round of the Simufur BMW M2 Sunday series here. I'm going to be here in the commentary box joined by my co-commentator Wolfin Foxdale, and we are unfortunately having a bit of technical difficulties with our server at the moment, so we are not live yet on the practice server, but we're going to be heading there pretty soon here. But in the meanwhile, I want to be saying this has been a very exciting season so far here. It's been a very close fight in the AM Championship and in the Silver Cup class as well. So I'm going to be quite looking forward to what the drivers are going to be doing here in a very wet and cold British racing circuit here.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. Snetterton has not been one of those tracks that as I've looked at the chat, I saw the collective groans as they found out that we were racing Snetterton in the wet, but that's going to make for very exciting racing, I believe, especially in these cars, because remember, these cars do not have tire blankets, so they will be racing in the rain on cold tires. So I anticipate some very exciting racing to go about.
Indeed. And now as we just said that we are finally live on our race server here, so let me just give us a few moments as we get hooked up and ready to go on the server here. So this is going to be mostly just a formality for our drivers here. It's only going to be a 10-minute practice session, but there's going to give them an opportunity to get a feel for what the actual track conditions are going to be like, and how they're going to have to prepare their tires here for the coming red race here. But before we head on over to the race server here, I want to have a bit of a quick overview of what the points situation is looking like here for now. So if we're going to be starting off with our M2 Championship in the overall category here, we have our president, pro driver, Furry, Plasma Raider, able to hold on a very commanding lead, over a 10-point lead on the current P2 runner here of Crimlith. And down the field there, we have a bit of a tighter spread here between the P3 up into P6 position here, only about 7 points separating them. So depending on how any of these competitors are going to be able to complete their runs here, it's going to be maybe swinging points very wide here. Going up and further down the Q2 here, we also see a bit of a wider spread in the further part of this grid here, but it's going to be very much more interesting as we head over to the Silver Championship, where the competition is going to be much tighter here. We can see over here it's going to be Randomy, who has been doing some pretty strong showings here in the qualifying, not quite able to convert those qualifying results into good race results as well. So that's why he's not been able to get quite as good at points as we have. We have actually Dipping Sauce able to hold on a pretty solid lead here, but Newt is right behind them, and I know for a fact Newt has been practicing like mad on the server here, trying to get good lap times, get their consistency down here, and then get ready for the runs ahead here. And moving on over to our AM Championship here, it's also going to be a quite interesting race here with Wheeze in a very similar dominant lead to Plasma Raider in the overall category, almost a 10-point lead here to our unexpected P2 runner here of Cohen. So we're going to be watching these two runner-ups here with quite some great interest to see how they're going to be able to do this race here.
Yeah, it's very in some areas it's very tight, in some areas it's not, and this is probably going to be. I think this may, for me at least, I believe this might be a bit of a shuffle here as the server goes, as we go live here at Snetterton, and it is wet. It is very wet. As we follow Newt going into turn, that would be turn 2, I believe.
That's actually
Montreal.
Turn 2 of Palmer going up into the back section. Actually, no, it's actually turn 6 of Augie's, but into the other right-hander of Williams and into the back straight Bentley straight here. And there's actually going to be the car number 740 of Kizzy, not Newt here, who are we watching, our brand new TIG junior racing driver here, firstly coming up on the academy. And I would have to say I'm not biased at all, but I would say she's doing some pretty impressive results so far.
Yeah, you're totally not biased at all. But yeah, Vossi has been doing an amazing job. They did an overall podium on Friday, actually, at our GT4 race. They had an amazing race, and if I remember correctly, they were struggling at Sano, but they managed to pull out something very nice, and now here they are at Snetterton. And I believe, looking at the times, yeah, they have currently P3 in practice server, not in the practice server, but in the practice session at least. Whether that will change will be seen soon as they come down the center straight to turn 1 at Riches.
Yes, it's unlikely there's going to be much lap times to be done here on this practice server, since there's only about 5 minutes, 10 minutes to actually get some lap times going here. So I wouldn't be putting too much focus into what the drivers are able to pull off here, but I'm going to be expecting us we see a bit of a close one between Cohen and Kizzy right there going up into the middle straight into Montreal. But yeah, so there's not going to be a lot of time for our competitors to set some competitive lap times here. So the true test is going to be the qualifying session, which is going to be a single qualifying session. Everybody's going to be going out at the same time, trying to find that clean spot of air on the track and get the good lap times here. And I mean, it's going to be quite an expectation at the moment that it's going to be Newt and Randomy able to get to the top of the field here. But as we saw, like especially with how Vossi commented about his like lack of pace in Misano, that even if you don't have that good qualifying result, that does not mean that you necessarily will not get a good race result, because anything can happen. There could be some incidents happening here, could be some crashes or spins that can just keep you up to the top of the field, and that's going to be able to get you that podium that you want.
Exactly. You just got to keep consistent, and that's been the big thing as we follow Plasma, our resident furry, down toward that would be down toward Palmer. And he's really just been cruising this season. Though he's not gotten as many podiums as we expected, he's had consistency, and that's really all that he's really needed in this race. He's just been incredibly consistent and just running his race, and it's worked out as he goes a little wide and hits a little bit of a bump going out of turn 4, now heading down to Augie's, and I anticipate as we see the number 7 getting a little wide, but managed to avoid Plasma there. But I think this track is going to be a wild card. It's a track that's not really made for anything. I would say, even for TCXs, it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
And you say that about consistency and not getting wins. So I do have to correct you, is that out of the last 3 races that we have had in the M2 races so far, Plasma has won every single one of them. He's not quite been able to get the pole position that we wanted to, but in the race conditions where it's time to get your foot on the throttle and get around the other cars here, Plasma's been able to get the win here and just cruise to the victory here. So he's been holding on a very dominant lead so far here, but as we've seen from some of our competitors lower down the ranking here, that doesn't mean that he can still take it easier, and there could still be an unfortunate penalty, an accident, a spin that could just throw this championship wide open here. And as a reminder, there's still going to be a drop round system in this championship here, so it's only going to be your best 5 results that will be counting towards your results here. So with our competitors who may have had like a few unlucky races here, like if they can just keep their consistency back, get those good results that they want to maybe get some points away from Plasma, that's going to be giving them the opportunity as well to get maybe the championship victory here.
Absolutely, and that is pretty much what I said, but you have a point. Like, consistency is key, and that's really what you just need to aim for, especially in a race like this, because wet weather throws a monkey wrench in almost everything, because the aim for, at least for me, the aim for a wet race is not to set the fastest time. It's to set the most consistent time and to keep out of trouble, because 9 times out of 10, that will get you the positions you need, because the ones that are really pushing, especially on a track like Snetterton, it's going to be very dangerous, especially here. There's not a lot of places to pass. And if you do try to pass, it's going to be very daring, because you have grass and you have more grass on either side. There's really not a lot of runoff to where if you go a little wide, it's not going to end well for you.
Absolutely. I do believe the best overtaking opportunities are going to be on these 2 straights here, the Bentley Straight and the Senna Straight, but it's going to be all about, like, especially into the Bentley Straight, it's going to be how you can set yourself up into turn 7, if you can get that run up and get that early exit to get the overtake, because right after the Senna Straight, it's going to be the Bentley Straight. After the Bentley Straight, there's going to be the very tricky left braking zone into Brundle and then into Nelson, where you have to brake twice, need to really be modulating your brakes. If you go a little bit wrong there, you're going to be easy just spinning wide onto the grass and just ending your race here, and that's not going to be a very risky spot to try and make an overtake here. So we're going to be watching with great interest to see if anybody's going to try to make a peek on that part of the circuit.
I honestly hope nobody does, because that, especially on lap 1, because that's just going to be incredibly risky, and I foresee it not ending well. But I am excited because honestly, I've actually never raced at Snetterton ever. I've only seen the track and I've done a couple test laps on it, but I've never actually raced here. So it'll be very exciting to see where people try to make their moves, how they're going to drive a circuit like this, especially in the wet. So I am extremely excited for this.
Yes, it's going to be interesting for sure. The last time Simufur has had, as we see, Plasma with a bit wide going up into turn 3, and but keeping the balancing well control, yeah. But last time we had Snetterton in the Simufur calendar was all the way back in February of 2022, when it was the feature race of the third GT3 season. So this is going to be a much different experience for our drivers who, I'm not quite sure if anyone was there back at the time, but with these low downforce, very much mechanical grip oriented M2 cars, it's going to be all about just keep your car control, and it's probably going to be quite a big range in pace here, with some drivers not being quite as comfortable in the wet as the normal cars are, with maybe running those ultra safe conservative wet setups here. We might see like 10, maybe even 15-second variance between the top time and the bottom time here, as we are finally wrapping up our qualifying session and waiting for practice session and getting ready for our drivers to get ready on qualifying.
Yeah, and that also could turn very interesting in the race, because a 10 to 15 second difference means that the pros may end up running into them as lap traffic. And as we said earlier, it's very hard to pass here. It's going to be even harder to pass lap traffic here. So this may even bunch up the field and make even more interesting fights going later on in the race.
I would hope the lap traffic to be easier to pass because they have actual blue flags that would force them to yield, but I'm sure I can understand the situation as well, and yeah, it's going to be a big risk, especially if you try to make these daring overtakes on the outside. If you just get a tire on the grass, then just going to be an easy chance for you to spin your car and cause a major accident here. So hopefully our drivers will be able to keep their cars together as we wait for a couple more drivers to cross the finish line. We have currently, it's going to be the car number 15 of Vossi still on track here, waiting for them to cross the finish line before we get ready for our qualifying. Looking at the time so far, it's Plasma coming with a very commanding 2 minutes 7.717. Almost a second up on Dipping Sauce, who's currently holding the P2 spot here, but we're seeing again that really wide spread between our pro and silver drivers here. They're way more mixed up as we would normally see here, as we see Vossi with a big spin going up into the final turn 12 corner here, and that's going to be bringing our practice session to the end, yeah. But as we are getting ready for our qualifying, it's going to be interesting to see how our pro drivers will be able to get their cars going on here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting. We'll just have to wait for qualifying to start, and we'll just have to keep on time, because correct me if I'm wrong, I have been gone a week. This is a free-for-all quality, so everyone is out at once, so it is not split quality like it is at GT4, if I am remembering right.
Indeed, it's going to be a single qualifying here. We already have all of our drivers going up on track, and as we do catch up on our lead car, that it's going to be the car number 115 of Grimdeath, who is able to get to the top of the field, and we're going to be watching them going up on their outlap and getting ready for the first ones around here in Snetterton. And while the M2 cars, as we see a big spin from Blade Wolf in the background there, we can already see just how treacherous this track is. Just a tiny bit too wide on these turns, so that gets your rear tire on the grass, and with only one of your tires on the grass, that's going to be easily getting your car to spin. So this is going to be, if we are seeing cars spinning already in the qualifying session, it's going to be much more interesting to see in the actual race session.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also like to point out, remember, they are on cold tires, so more than likely they'd probably push me just a little too hard. Tires were not happy with it, and unfortunately it set them for a ride. But it's still plenty of time. They could just go back to the pits, restart an open air, and try again. Because there's 13 minutes left in qualifying, so it may not seem like a lot of time, but it's still plenty to get your outlap in and still get going.
Indeed, and we are waiting for our lead driver here to get around the final couple corners here into Nelson through the bomb hole. A very tricky area, that bomb hole, where you don't really break down. You only lift off your throttle and go back on full power to drift around on the outside curbing here, as we see now. Gonna hop onto their onboard view here as they go around the final sweeping Coran bend here, and hitting before their first hot lap around the track here.
Yep, so here we go. We're heading down the center straight in a long, it's a fairly long straight as they hit pit lane. Now we're heading into turn 1, Riches. And you can see just a little, pretty deep, then let the car drift a little wide, heading down toward turn 2, Montreal, which is a fairly sharp hairpin. Go wide, cut yourself in, keep it as tight as you can on the inside to get yourself set up for turn 3, Palmer. Nice and easy. Even in the wet, Grim's doing an amazing job just keeping it. As I say that, get a little tight, coming into Palmer. Now out on the straight, heading to turn 4. Full, flat out, going through the gears. Now heading in turn 4 of, I'm gonna botch this horribly, Agostini. Oh, thank you. Now heading to Hamilton. Just a little hitting the curbing, setting yourself up for turn 6. Now running a little wide, getting ready for turn 7. Williams, nice and easy. Get yourself as close to that tire barrier as you can without hitting it. Going a little wide, little shaky going into the center, into the Bentley straight. Nice long run. You could probably, in these cars, you could probably have a drink. Probably not wise to stay. Now we're heading into turn 8 and turn 9. Braking into Brundle. Now heading wide into Nelson. Nice long straight. Heading into turn 10. I am not going to say it. And now down to the penultimate corner, Quorum, and yourself as wide as you can. Keep it as wide as you can. Then turn deep as you can. Tap the brakes. Get yourself into turn 12 on Murray's, and then that is a lap here at Snetterton.
So we're watching them go over the finish line, and really, that's going to be fairly impressive on a couple of mistakes here. But as we see them go over the finish line, it's going to be an opening time of 2 minutes 8.5. That's going to be immediately cut off by Glasgow behind them with a 2 minutes 7.5. Whole second up on this time, so that's going to be an immediate competitive run here. It is going to be quite interesting to see how our drivers are going to be able to get around here. As we see a couple more drivers. Yes, it's going to be a very commanding lead on Plasma already. Yeah, over a second ahead on previous competitors.
Yes, absolutely. And as we head down, it is turn. I think this is turn. Forgive me, I had to get my bearings a little.
Going up around the swipe, swinging here into Hamilton here on the left-hand side. So we see a bit of a spin again here from a little slide from Plasma here. They've been keeping the car on this ragged edge here, and I do believe they also might be running that very risky no traction control setup here as well for the qualifying session. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be doing the same kind of risk going into the race session, but for this very special qualifying session, they might just run the risk and just run without any traction control to get the best absolute exit on these cars.
Yeah, and I've also been noticing Plasma has been kind of holding toward the dry line that has been forming. Keeping close to Grim, well, not, getting too close, but I've just been noticing that they've been kind of hugging a little bit toward the dry line. Now they're getting a little bit into the wet. I kind of agree with you, Denak. I think they might be running the no TC setup because you can see just how loose he gets getting out of the corners. The car just is wiggling everywhere, and I'm also noticing, at least from what I can see, the wiggles are starting to happen like when one of his tires kind of gets into a little bit into the damper areas of the track before it snaps back into place. But Plasma is doing an amazing job as we wait to see what the time is going to be. Any second now, I believe it's an improvement. Plasma's pulling off. Maybe it was, or maybe there's something else wrong.
Yes, there was a, Grimler ahead happened to get a 5/10 improvement, but behind was Plasma Radar also able to get another 5/10 improvement. So despite both of getting really big improvements, the gap has not shrunk at all between Grimler and Plasma, still holding on to a very commanding second lead here, now at a whopping 207.0. And yeah, we might see quite a commanding lead here unless we see our resident qualifying runners here with perhaps Newt or randomly here able to get some runs. Yes, we see there's a bit of a traffic jam going up on our main straight. I do believe that's going to be the car number 8 of Vossi and Plasma behind them trying to get the runs here. Looking down our grid here, we see there's a KD Timberfox here running on a fairly substantial improvement here, currently at 6/10th improvement at the moment. Looking quite strong here up into the middle section into Agostini. We can see here, especially with how the weather seems to be looking fixed so far, but as the drivers keep running around the track here, there's going to be more of a dry line for them, which gives the competitors a better opportunity to just get more power down, get a bit of a better exit, get some better turning on these corners here. So we might see some very, very good times here going towards the latter end of our qualifying session here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can very clearly, well, you can mostly see it. It's kind of what you want to look for is kind of like the more, not drier, but the more obvious, the less water area, and they've definitely been running. It's even for now, there's already been like a very obvious dry line, and it's just been going. I guess it's just going very well for them.
Yeah, they seem to be doing pretty well here so far. They've lost a bit of time into these middle sectors here, so they're not quite making as good of an improvement as they would have hoped on here, but they are doing a slight improvement that might just be enough to get them into the position ahead, unless they slightly compromise their exit going into Coram and towards Murray. So see if they can balance out that throttle in the very tricky section of Coram here, where you just try to balance out your throttle and your gas, getting as well set up here into this final Murray corner with a good exit here. And we see Katie able to get that really nice exit here, get that power down early, and that's going to be 2/10 improvement as they cross over the finish line with, it's going to be a 2-minute 8.9, so able to pip Blade Wolf behind them for the P10 position here, but still probably going on strong here. We also see a couple of other improvements here. We have Wushul able to get a very good improvement here, currently up in P2 with a 2-minute 7.8. Still not quite close enough to challenge Plasma ahead here, so this might be another lonely race for Plasma, but at least there's going to be quite a tight spread going down from P2 all the way down into P10. Yeah,
and it's definitely been a very dominant race for Plasma. I think even with all this rain, it's just been all Plasma for the. It'll probably be all Plasma for this race. As we see, Wish will get a little loose coming out of the corner as we now focus on MNU, who's, I believe, in a fairly decent improvement, heading down towards Nelson and prepping themselves for turn 10. Nice and wide. Looks like it's going to be a fairly good improvement heading down toward the penultimate corner. We're going to have to wait and see. They have an amazing exit coming out of the corner. Nice and smooth. Let's see where they wind up. And it is going to be... oh my god, a dramatic improvement. They're going to be P7 now. Whew. That is an amazing improvement, actually.
Yes, there's quite a few corners around here in Snetterton where you can really lose a lot of time if you don't get the corner exit optimally, especially into turn 12, that really tricky left-hander right after the sweeping round wide-hander into Coram. If you don't get that exit just right, get that power out early, you can really just lose a lot of speed going into this Senna straight here, which can really compromise your lap time. There's a similar kind of event that also happens into Montreal, where if you brake a bit too early, your exit gets compromised and your entry gets all compromised. You're going to be going really slow off into these really long straights here. So it's especially going to be tricky for our competitors in these mixed conditions to get the lap down. But once they get that tire down, get the grip down just right, we can see some massive improvements from our drivers here. As we do see down in our P14, it's going to be F Spirit on a really good improvement as well. Currently 6/10 up on their previous lap time as we see them going over the finish line. That's going to be a fairly decent jump up into P10 with a 2-minute 8.8. Quite a tight spread between our silver and pro drivers here, excluding Plasma, who is currently still coasting away at the front here with almost a second lead again on everybody else.
Jeez, second lead. It doesn't surprise me. I think these wet conditions are definitely throwing a monkey wrench as we follow Weiss, who is just coming into turn 1. I think these wet conditions are not... I want to say that it's been one of those things where it's for some drivers it's worked well for them, but for some it hasn't. As we've seen in previous races, Randomy has done amazingly well in some qualifying sessions, even beating Plasma out of pole. But today it looks like he is struggling a little bit, as we see. I believe that is. Forgive me. That is Swingley, and that is a lot of damage. That is a fair amount of damage. I don't know what happened, but they just ran a little wide, so maybe they have a little bit of damage. They probably should return to the pits at some point and fix that, but yeah.
Yeah, they may have had a bit of an incident here, but I just wanted to highlight here that we're currently seeing Cohen and Swingley in identical lap times here, both running at a 2-minute 9.717 here. So with a bit of a wider spread here in the pro category, the competition is very much alive here down in the AM class here, with our competitors from AM P2 down into P4 only about 2/10 separating each other here. So as we see a big slide from Swingley again, compromise the exit. They're definitely going to be considering going into the pits and doing one more run here. We have 1 minute left to go here, so we're going to be seeing the final shots from our competitors here, trying to get the lap times they want here. As we see randomly with a bit of a horrible slide, they're going into turn 1 and into turn 2 Montreal. They're trying to get that car in line here. We see them in a slight improvement here, about 10.5 up on their previous lap time here. If we can see them improve a little bit more here, we might see them able to challenge the pro top 3 ahead here of Plasma, Grimlith, and Wushul. But watching them with interest as we go into the mid straight towards Agostini. And nice and tight on the right side, brake early, a tiny bit on the crash here, but keeping it together here, flipping that apex a bit and getting that good exit going up into Counter in turn 5. Still on a good improvement here, about a 10th up on their previous best. Cutting it deep and just pinning that throttle into the short acceleration zone, and then immediately down into Augie's, putting that curved deep and just keeping that tight line here to avoiding drifting too wide. Another tight braking zone into turn 7 Williams, into that long bend straight. Important to get a really good exit out here to maximize your velocity, and he's currently on a 3/10 improvement here, as we only have 20 seconds left on our qualifying session here. We're watching them very closely, just drifting it wide towards the right side, get ready for that tricky braking zones into turn 8 and turn 9 with a double braking here. First braking here, lift off and then tap again here as we go. So really deep, almost messed up that corner, but losing a lot of time here. That's unfortunately carried a bit too much speed going up into turn Brundle and Nelson, and unfortunately losing the time as well. I've seen another bit of slide here, and that's not going to be an improvement from Brandon as we see them pulling over the side here, and it's going to be secure them into P4 here. We also see that's going to be Great Wolf and Dippinsaw still in the background doing their own final runs here, both on small improvements here. We also see Plasma, I see in my timing, we're currently on another 5/10 improvement here on their previous best. Actually see Grim Lilith and Wushel cross the finish line both in P2 and P3, not able to beat our resident pro driver here. We see them going up into Brundle and into Nelson here, another carrying a lot of speed here, but keeping it nice and tight on the inside line here. Get that good exit going up into Bomb Hole. Very nice, nice and well held there. As we see them lift off a bit, then back on full power, drifting wide towards the exit, using that dry line to their maximum advantage here. And then just on into balancing that throttle and brake here into turn 11 into Koram, not braking at all here. I see them just lifting and downshifting as we then see them going hard braking so early to run here into turn 12 with a good launch. That's going to be another 6/10 improvement on their previous lap time, and that's going to be at the dying minutes of the qualification. That's going to be another massive improvement for the pro driver Plasma here with a 2-minute 6.3. Nobody else has been able to get even close to a 2-minute 6, with Plasma just dominating this category.
Jeez. You know, I think we'll chalk this up to experience, because man, that is a almost a 2-second gap between him and Grim Lilith. That is fairly insane, as we see Blade come down. Final corner, no improvement though. And as the last of it wraps up, as we see Dipping come down, it's going to be Plasma with a very obvious domination, and yeah, it came out really well. So we're now have to wait for them to line up on the grid. And Denak, I hate to state the obvious, but I believe we're gonna have Plasma running away with this, aren't we?
It could be possible, but we've seen some more interesting things happen in the early race sessions. We may have a bit of an unfortunate spin going a bit too wide here. We're having another issue with some texting and driving happening here, so not everything can still happen, and I wouldn't discount Grim or Wushel being able to capitalize on like a critical Plasma mistake and get those wins here. But going also down into our silver class, we have Random be able to get the silver pole position, not quite able to get that overall pole position as they may have hoped for, like last time with a 2-minute 8.0, but quite a decent lead here going up into P2 with Newt, who only got a 208.2 with Blade Wolf in a 208.3. So the competition between the silver drivers might be more of a lively one than we see with the overall top 3 here. And down here in the AM class here, we have Zizors able to get the AM pole position. Well done from him. But we have Whis and Cohen not too far off, only about 2/10 from the times here. So we're going to be seeing some probably some very close fighting from our competitors in all of the categories here. And with how tight the track is going to be, especially going into Riches and into Montreal, there might be quite a big risk for incidents here. So we're going to be keeping our safety car nice and primed ready in case of any incidents.
Yeah, I hope they build up the tank, or the safety car tank, all the way, so that way they don't have to be filling it up midway through. I think things are going to get very interesting, especially on turn 1, where anything can happen. Thankfully, the turn 1 is not incredibly tight, and you can't really, it won't cause too many incidents. But I think honestly it's going to be very interesting. Anything can happen. All it will take is for somebody to miss their braking marker or have their brakes lock up, and it could turn into a bit of a mess.
Indeed, and now we're getting our drivers lined up on the starting grid here. So let's take a look at our competitors so far. So again, in P1, we have a very commanding pole position from our resident pro here, Plasma Raider in a P1 here, joined up alongside by Grimlith, a very familiar pairing here at the top of the line here with getting a good P2. Coming up into our second row here, we have Wushel Wolf with another good run here from her, able to get that P3 position, joined up alongside our qualifying pro of Randaby in P4. Up in our P5 spot, we have Saber Gates, and another familiar side here in the top half of our grid here in a good P5 position, joined up by Newt, our second silver driver in P6. Going up over, we have Blade Wolf, able to fill out the P7 spot here, joined alongside by the bright pink and chrome livery of Dipping Sauce here with a very good run from them as well in silver. We'll kind of be watching them with great interest. Coming up alongside into P8 and P9, we have the cars of MN underscore and Vossi, able to get some good runs for as well. Joined up alongside in the next row is going to be the car number 8 of Lunatic with that nice and vibrant carnival themed livery here with Shork Racing Team. Joined up alongside by the slightly tagged car number 88 of F-Spirit here. We're going to be moving on that very quickly. Joined up alongside in P19, we have the car number... Apologies. In P13, we have the car of Katie, car number 19 here. Joined up alongside our first AM driver of Zizors in P6. Going up a bit further down, we have in P15, we have our Room 36 Dark and Edgy livery here of Whis. Joined up alongside by, yet again, our... missing livery 404 Cohen car here. We're hoping maybe one day they will be able to get that livery finally going here, but unfortunately not going to be the case this time here. Up alongside on our next grid spot, we have car number 46 of Swingley with a very crude Microsoft Paint livery here, patched together with a couple of seams and probably some tape here with MS Office Paint here. Joined up alongside on the next up is going to be the car number 740 of Kizzy. Up alongside, we have now the car number 10 of Juanvi with a good run here up into the bottom half of the grid here, joined up alongside by Parzival, the Racing Wolf in P20. And rounding out our grid here, we have the car number 7 of Zephyr here, with the final spot of the grid here rounding out by the car number 777 of Crest here, with our safety car driver page here, keeping all of our drivers here in good working order here as we wait for our competitors to run up and get ready for their outlap.
Yeah, the grid should be lining up and going any minute now, and these beautiful liveries, even the ones that we cannot find because Gmod is a wonderful thing, and sometimes it just does not work out. Here we go. They are now lining up and getting ready to go. As we see Plasma heading down into turn 1 with a fairly large gap between them and Grim at the moment, just getting themselves warmed up as they start to bunch up again. Remember, there is no collision here until the green flag drops. So, and now they're heading down to turn 1. Everybody's getting their brakes nice and toasty because you're gonna need it. You're absolutely going to need to get those tires as warm as you can, especially in this wet weather. The better your tires are going to be, or the warmer your tires are going to be, the better, especially for that launch when you get going. So I'm super excited, and let's see what happens.
Absolutely, and while they are able to get the wet tires a bit faster into their optimum temperature window as well, it's still going to take at least a couple laps to get them into their optimum pressure window, as we see Plasma doing a bit of an eager flashing of the lights here ahead of the grid here with I do see them without the rain light. I'm not quite sure where the rain light is supposed to be on these M2 cars here, but I'm hoping our drivers are going to be following the rules nice and well and getting those rain lights on here. And speaking of tires here, there's going to be no pit stop for this race here, so it's going to be just a full-on 45-minute sprint race here for all of our competitors. Just trying to get the maximum out of these tires here and get ready for our final run here as we go see them around. That's going to be turn 7 going up into the Bentley straight here. Quite a long lap here, so it's going to be taking a bit of a while for our competitors to get ready to line up on the main straight. So while it might be a bit of a foregone conclusion on who might be winning the race here, but what do you think about the silver or the AM race here? Who do you think is going to be able to get the win there? I'm
going to throw a wild card and say that I think Newt's probably going to get silver, and I think Caesars may have AM. They had a great time. They are currently pole in AM, and they've had a very so far they've been fairly consistent. If they're able to keep that consistency and stay out of trouble, I think Caesars is going to easily take this race. As far as silver goes, Randomy unfortunately has had a little bit of rough rounds going early on into the race, and they've been able to make really good recovery drives. We see them line up 2 by 2 as they head down toward turn 10. I think if anything happens to Randomy, it's just going to be all Newt for the rest of the race, and we'll just have to keep an eye out. We'll have to see. We could be proven extremely wrong on this race, so here we go.
Yes, we're going to be watching then very closely on all 3 different classifications here as we see our lead group here getting ready over the final turn here, get all lined up on the final straight here. Everybody just holding on their brakes, keeping that into that 50 kilometers an hour, ready to launch. Grim and Plasma side by side, keeping to pounce, just eager to get those cars unleashed as we see them going up. Waiting. And still waiting.
There it is.
Go. With Plasma going, shooting up right alongside, but Grim getting a really good launch right alongside the trying to them up, going into the first turn, into Riches here, both holding it nice and tight, this side by side with Riches. Keeping it Plasma with Randomy going really wide on the outside, almost spinning out there as we see them losing a couple positions here. Plasma still holding on strong on the inside with Grim squeezing up on the outside, just trying to get that, but Plasma able to get that better run. Still holding on strong here, going up into turn 3 here, with Grim still trying to get that peak up inside, but losing that run up as they wanted to. And we see further down the grid, we also see Randomly losing quite a few positions here, currently now down in P7 from the original P4 position by going a bit too wide into P1 here, but still holding us strong, going up down. We also see a lot more moving up here with Katie Timberbox going up side by side into turn 4 with a 3-wide move here with F-Spirit ahead and Lunatic right behind there, just holding on strong, just trying to desperately hold on these cars here. And just lots of action happening all up and down the grid here, with everybody just bumper to bumper, just itching to get those tires in their optimum window, and watching out for any potential incident. We see Emin underscore with a big dive here from the background, but I think that's going to be the car really trying to get those messages on as well. But everybody getting nice and clean here, going up into the Bentley straight. We see up ahead it's Grim to death, still trying to chase down Plasma ahead here, but Plasma able to get a really good run and just able to open up that gap here and start stretching the wrecks and hopefully get on here for a good race. As we see in the background, it's going to be Saber Kitsune getting close on the bumper of Russell here, going up into turn 9, 8 in turn 9. Ooh, coming up right up on the rear here into bomb hole, and ooh, I think that's a car going in the background there. Not sure what happened quite there. We do see, I think that was going to be the car of F Spirit who went a bit wide. Let's see if we can catch up on the replay here real quick.
You could see them. They tried to make a move, it looks like, going down the Bentley straight. And I think what we're going to see is they're going to come in a little bit too tight, or maybe outbrake themselves a little bit. Yeah, I think they outbroke themselves a little bit. Yeah, had way too much speed going into the next quarter, and it went wide. And the car behind also went a little bit wide as well.
Yeah, that is the car of Katie Timberfox right there in the background, who also just overshot their braking zone there, going up into turn 8, turn 9. That's going to be the big risk up here in this race here, where if you just don't get that braking absolutely right, as we see at the front of the grid, we see Wushel and Newt currently in their fight as well for the P3 position. Newt going up on the inside of Wushel, able to get that run right up alongside, going up into, we'll see some disapproving flashes coming from the background, I believe, as they go into turn 3. Newt just getting away with, we see at the front of the back here, it's Plasma and Grim just saying thank you very much and just disappearing off into the horizon, leaving everybody else behind.
Yeah, all this fighting has just allowed Plasma and Grim to just kind of run away with this. But in the back, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars all in a little bit of a fight here. Anything could happen as we head down toward the next corner. Still no moves yet, but you can see dipping right on the bumper of Bushel there. I think they tried to make a move, thought better of it, and now stuck behind the line. They're probably going to try to make a run coming now down to the Bentley straight. Nice long run as we follow on board with Bushel. All that spray, you can barely see the car ahead of you, and that's where things get a little bit risky as we head down into the next corner, heading in, going a little deep. Bushel keeping their line nice and easy as we see.
Coming from Plasma, that's going to be Plasma going up wide here on some point and putting this race right by over. We need to see that immediately on the replay. Let's see what happened with them here. I do believe there was going to be a bit of an accident. Yeah, I do believe that may have been that very treacherous turn 8 and turn 9 where Plasma, let's see them really closely as we're going up into turn 8, carrying a lot of speed, going really fast and just overshooting their braking massively and nearly spinning under the walls here. Very well held from Plasma to be able to not get an incident as we see Grim almost running into the back of them, but you can see like that turn 8, turn 9 compass is not to be messed with. A slight mistake here, and that's going to be putting this championship wide open as we see they're not being threatened by Newt and Wushel right behind them.
Yeah, but now you see Plasma's probably a little hot under the collar. Now seeing red is really starting to push and try to get back in front of Grim as he's now caught in this massive train of cars. Who knows what he's done to the tires? I don't think he did any suspension damage because he didn't really do a lot of bumping.
As we see another yellow flag, that's going to be possible sliding off the track and hitting the ball here. Another unfortunate spin. We need to check another look at on the replays to see how they had ended up. I do believe that was the turn 1 going up into turn 1 trying to hit it. That's going to be contact. I think that's going to be the car number 6 of Z-Source who had unfortunate contact with causing Parsible to spin out and hit into the barriers, and that's going to be them all the way at the back of the grid now, unfortunately. But this is how dangerous wet weather racing can be here, as we see Zephyr and Kizzy now in their own fight here, fighting for P18 and P18 here. We see Zephyr just inching closer and closer to the rear bumper, going up into turn 4 and into turn 5, trying to get that optimum exit here. And despite how wet this track, and despite how difficult the overtaking is here, this wet track is really making things treacherous and giving a lot more opportunities for our competitors to get these moves done.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see yet another fight, this one's between Vossi and Lunatic as they head down the Bentley straight, nice and tight, and it's going to be, I honestly do agree that this wet weather has just been really messy. As we see Blake goes really deep going into turn 7. Oh, I think they touched. Yeah, they did. Blade got touched going into the next corner, and now they've dropped 2 positions as they head down to turn 10 bomb hole, and it is. Oh, that was a very brave move from Blade, but unfortunately it almost worked for them. But I think that that little bit of a tap from that little bit of a tap from, it says Vossi, but that is incorrect, from the car, from car 19, from Katie. And it just was incredibly unfortunate.
Yes, we do see now Vossi and Luna having a bit of a fight here as well. Vossi coming up with a peek up on Luna's bumper, but not quite getting that move to stick here. We also see up ahead, it's going to be Wushu right up on the bumper of Luna. Again, having another look here. There's fighting going up all of down here as we see them going up into turn 2. Wushu with a good run up on the inside, but now on the inside going up into turn 3 here. Just hoping to just hold on a 3 position here. Wushu just not quite getting that run up that she would have wanted here. We see also Dipping Sauce in the background. They're also having another peek up on Wushu in the background. Wushu now coming on a defensive move here, going up into turn 4, dipping, looking up, having a peek, but not quite getting that move done here. And it's gonna be fighting happening all the way up and down the field. We also see in the background it's going to be Katie and F-Spirit now in their own fight going up into turn 4 as well. F-Spirit now having another T move up the inside and just getting able to get that move done here. And there's just no shortage of battles happening all around the track here. I'm running out of breath.
You and me both. I'm running out of. I'm looking literally everywhere, trying to keep an eye on everything, and there's just fights everywhere as we go on board with Blade Wolf. As he follows this little battle between Katie and F-Spirit, they're now heading down toward the Bentley Straight, and they have now evened out. And it's. I don't think Blade's going to try to go for that move again. They're probably just going to stick to it, keep it nice and easy. Maybe try again later on, or wait for a mistake, because we've seen plenty of them. All it's going to take is for somebody to mess up this corner right here, and that'll be it for them. As we see Blade kind of go a little bit tight going into turn 7 there, as we now are on board with Katie as they follow behind this little train here of cars as we head down to turn 10, or I'm sorry, turn 11, as we complete a lap here at Snetterton. Definitely been very tight.
Yes, absolutely here. We also see at the middle part of the grid, we have Vossi and Luna still in their own fight here between the 2 German racing drivers here. Luna still able to hold on with a solid lead here going up into turn 1 and towards the short acceleration zone into turn 2. But we also see Saber up ahead here starting to fall back a little bit, going up into the bumpers of Luna and Vossi here. And drivers are starting to settle up into their own position here slowly, as we do see in the background that's actually the car 808 of MN underscore, who's currently down in P90. I'm not quite sure what happened to them for them to fall so far down the field, but they just had an overtake on Zephyr there. So another unfortunate, unlucky race for MNU for them to again have a good qualifying, but have it all be stashed in the race session here. But we're going to be hopefully seeing them do it with a good run up here back into the top 10. You also see there was also the car of Z-Source here coming up with a bit of a peek here on the car number 10 of Juan V ahead here, as we see them going up into turn 4, inching it closer, just trying to see these books here. And it seems like the best opportunities for braking are going to be somewhere within turn 8, turn up, with a driver simply just making a mistake, shooting it too wide and compromising their exit. That's going to give the car behind the opportunity to just slingshot inside and get that good run up into turn 10 of Bomb Hole, into turn 11 of Cram.
Yeah, as we continue to follow Zezors down into Augie's, as I think things have kind of more or less evened out. Things have been close, but not really close. As Zezors gets a little bit loose coming out of Williams, they're going to lose a lot of momentum coming down the Bentley Straight. But I think the car ahead of him, Juan V, also lost a little bit of momentum, maybe had a traction control issue or something. As we head down, as we now follow Vossi here, they've now right on the bumper of Lunatic as they head down into Murray's. Very close, right on the bumper. It's going to be close. They got a really nice run. They're going to probably maybe try to make a move down into turn 1. It'll be very brave if they do. Heading down as fast as they can. They're right on the bumper of Lunatic. Here we go. Any move here? No, they're actually going to lose time, get a little bit washed out heading into turn 1, cutting it deep. As we head down into turn 2 of Montreal. Nice, easy braking. They are now catching up to Saber, it looks like. And a little loose there.
Yes, we did see Bossy lifting up a little bit on that main straight here, not quite be brave enough to make a move up going up into turn 1, so it seems like there is an opportunity to make a move, but the turn 1 is a really fast right-hander where you can really easily just wash out wide and get on the grass here, and if you get your car on the grass here, it's going to be a very risky situation with potential spin, as we see Luna actually inching a bit closer towards Saber Kitsune up ahead here, currently in P7 and P8 here, as we watched them going up into turn 5 of Hamilton, then into the short braking zone, short acceleration zone into turn 6, another deep cut here. We see also Randomly has been able to get one position up and now currently in P6, hoping to get that fight back onto Newt, who's currently in a pretty commanding lead here. But we also see Wushu actually just chasing down on the bumper of Newt going up into the Bentley straight here. Do we see them going side by side? No, Wushu probably thinking better of making a move. Actually, we do see them going up on the inside, going up into turn 8. Oh, a little peak here, but not quite brave enough to make the move stick here. Backing out again as we see them going up into turn 9. Good exit here, Ricard, to keep yourself up on the bumper of the car ahead. We're going up into bomb hole, losing that gap a little bit here as the dirty air and that wash of understeer just loses them the speed they have. But you'll see in the back that's going to be the car number 73 of Random, also inching it closer, going up into turn 11 as we see Newt going for the very wide entry to then into turn 12 with the Wushu now getting about the same kind of exit as Newt, so that gap has now settled in here. But we do see Randomly getting really close up onto the bumper as we do see a yellow flag on the road. It's going to be the car number of Yuan V8, now unfortunately hitting the wall here. Let's see if we can see on the replay what happened to them. Going up around, and we have a bit of a collection issue. We see them going up. That's going to be... It's going to be side by side going up into the Bentley straight, a very risky area here to go out, try and make a move here. We see Juan V bringing it deep, going side by side, and I do believe that's going to be them just... Yeah, they just lost control of their car going up into that tight area here into turn 8 and turn 9, unfortunately hitting the wall here. As we also see another yellow flag here. That's going to be now the car number 88 of F-Speed. We're still going to wait for our replay to be done here. But we also see F-Speed now currently all the way down in P14, losing many positions. Unfortunately, we were not able to see what they had done here. But I do believe that was going to be then overshooting. I think that was going to be the turn 12 area that cost them all that time there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's incredibly unfortunate. As we see Bossy, they're making a move on the inside of Lunatic, heading down into turn 4. They're going to make it... Oh, Lunatic was a little bit wide, and Vossi says, thank you very much. I will be taking this. Have a nice day. And that is move done nice and easy as they keep going into turn 7 of Williams down the Bentley straight. Unfortunately, I think this fight has also helped out Saber a little bit. They've now started to pull away from this little fight as we see... I don't see any more battles going on at the moment. Things have been kind of close, but no moves yet. So definitely very interesting as we see, as I say that, we now have Plasma working everything he can. He is really getting close to Grim as they head down toward Murray's. They are in Plasma with their dominant time. We kind of saw this as an inevitability even with that incident. They, as we have trouble. That is Weiss. That is Weiss, actually. They went wide. Let's take a look at this. Oh, it's going to be Brundle strikes again. Yeah, they cut a little bit too deep into turn 8 and then spin on the turn 9. And that's incredibly unfortunate. They were in the lead of AM when this happened. So, unfortunately, that's lead loss. As we have another car. That is Kizzy. That is Kizzy down, I believe, same place. That is turn 9, I believe.
Yeah, that turn 9 and turn 8 area is really treacherous for all of our competitors ahead here. We also see up at the back there's going to be a more fighting happening between Wushu, Newt, and Dipping Sauce here. With I believe that was actually Dipping Sauce able to get an overtake up on Newt as well, who's now currently dropping down into P5. So fighting happening all around. We also see in the back there's going to be Lunatic able to get another move up on Vossi, and now securing back into that P8 position here. Vossi now having to take another look up into the rear bumper of Lunatic. As we see them going side by side a bit of a peek here into turn 4, but not quite thinking better of it here. As we see fighting happening all up and down. We see up ahead there's also going to be Dipping Sauce right up on the bumper of Wushu ahead here. Everybody just eager to get these runs here, and the gaps are really close. Even that slightest bit of mistake, a car tied on the grass here, a bit too wide on this exit here. That's going to be losing all of that critical time here and keeping the drivers behind him very close and eager to have those overtakes here. We also see up ahead, Plasma is now currently only 3/10 behind on Grimblade ahead here. Plasma's just been on an absolute flyer of a lap here. We see Grimblithe's previous best lap time being a 2 minute 7.9 with Plasma behind a whole second ahead. So we're going to be watching with great interest to see how if Plasma is going to be able to get an overtake. As we see another yellow flag from Newt, this one, who this time has had another spin here. Spins happening all over the track as we see another replay. We see them clipping the grass a little bit, going up into turn 8 and again going wide and having a spin around going up into the grass outside of turn 8 and turn 9. So we can see this is not going to be a foregone conclusion. It's going to be definitely a race of survival for all of our competitors here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get back to the battle for the lead, Plasma is right on the bumper of Grim. They have just been hauling tail as they sit right behind Grim. Like again, as you pointed out, nearly a second difference between Grim and Plasma in times. We kind of saw this as an inevitability that Plasma would catch up, and now it's just a matter of if Grim can hold off Plasma long enough to keep this race win alive for them. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. They seem to have dropped off a little bit going up into turn 4 and turn 5 here, but I don't see Plasma able to be stuck behind Grimblith for quite a long here with over a second of pace difference between them. But we're going to be watching them very closely here going up into turn 5 and then to turn 6 to see if Plasma is just inching closer, see if they can get that good exit strap going up into the back straight of Bentley. See, both of them holding it nice and tight here so far. Both be holding on a bit of a 5/10 gap here, so we're going to be hopefully seeing them getting a bit closer, almost clipping the grass there on the outside into exit of turn 7. So Plasma definitely driving the bolts of that BMW M2 as they try to reclaim their P1 position.
Yeah, they've been really pushing hard, trying to make up all the time they lost, and they have successfully. Now they just have to do the arguably very hard task of getting by Grim on a circuit that does not really allow for passing, except when you're really lucky. As we head down to turn 5, Plasma goes a little bit wide again, going down into turn 10. As we have trouble, Dip is spun again, or not again. Dipping has spun. Oh, it's gonna be turn 8 and turn 9 again. Yeah, they go really wide and go straight into the grass. This corner has just been the bane of everyone's existence. It's like every other lap, somebody is having an incident at this corner complex. That is just insanely unfortunate. As we see, Plasma, I believe, has fallen back a little bit again.
No, I do believe they have now caught up to only 2/10 behind on them going up into turn 2 here. Getting in nice and closer, inching and trying to look for any kind of opening here going up into turn 3 here. That's going to be more of a challenge for the two pro competitors here with perhaps the cars behind. They're not going to be able to put up as good of a defense here, but with Grim being a very seasoned pro driver from many Simufur races before and also driving with the controller, I would see them be able to just put their elbows out as wide as possible, make that M2 ahead here about the width of the track here to keep Plasma behind them and hopefully keep the championship teams alive here with I do believe I do check my standings here. Grimblith is currently down in P2 with 12 points behind on Plasma ahead here. So if he has any chance of getting this championship, he definitely needs to hold on to this P1 position.
Yeah, absolutely. All Grim needs to do is just hold off Plasma for another 24 minutes. And as you can clearly see, Plasma is not making it easy for them as they head down in the Bentley straight. Plasma is right on the bumper of Grim and Lilith here. But Grim, as you can see, they're holding the inside line, trying to keep Plasma from making a move. Plasma's going to try to go for a deep wide move on the outside, but no, they catch a little bit of grass. And I think that's momentum lost, but no, they're going to try to go for the switchback. Grim goes a little wide. The Plasma making a move. Here we go. Is it going to stick? Yes. Ooh. They're getting elbows to elbows. Plasma squeezing Grim a little bit as they head down into turn 11, but I think that is a move done, and have a nice day.
Yes, indeed. Now with Plasma able to clear Grimblith ahead here, he's probably going to be just giving a nice thank you kiss to Grim behind and just gonna be disappearing off into the horizon here. But we do see Grim still holding on close here, going up into the main strike to see if Plasma now going up for a defensive move up on the inside here. Grim now having another peek here, hoping to get that move capitalized here, get the switch back done here, but not quite able to. We see them going bumper to bumper, nearly having contact here with Grim, looking to have a bit of a wiggle from Plasma.
Oof.
Really big move going up on the grass here, compromising that accident, giving Grim a bit of a peek here, going up into turn 2, but still holding on strong here and keeping that position ahead. Yeah, we also see up ahead there's going to be the first lap traffic car. That's going to be the 777 car and 46 car of Swingley and Crest, who are still a bit of a gap ahead here before them, but I do see the pro drivers here catching up on the lap car traffic here before the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to make things very interesting, especially with how vigorously they're fighting as we catch up with the farther back cars. We have Lunatic catching up with Randomy down into that would be turn 3, and Lunatic just keeping right on the bumper of Randomy, trying to find a move as he cuts in a little deep on the inside. Is he going to make a move? No, he thinks better of it, sticking behind Randomy, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, we're going to be watching them very closely. We already see almost a second gap forming on Plasma here. So as we see Randomy going to turn 5,
really
that's
wide,
going to be giving it wide open and giving Lunatic the opportunity to get up and get that overtake finally done, going up into turn 6 and turn 7. Quite an unfortunate mistake from Randomy, but that's going to be very well done. Lunatic, who's now currently up in P2 in the Silver Championship here, with Dipping Sauce yet another commanding run here, currently running P1 in the Silver Champion. We do see Saber coming up right behind the pink and chrome BMW's bumper here, as we see them going up into bomb hole turn 10 into turn 11. That tricky right-hander here. We see them, Saber inching it closer, just trying to find any kind of opening here as we see them on the bottom here, trying to find that good run up into turn 12 with a bit of a compromise exit I see from Dipping Sauce here. That might give the opportunity for Dip to just get that slipstream going up on behind. Then we see them inching slowly a tiny bit closer here with another bit of a flash here from Dipping Sauce. Not quite sure what that's about here, but that's going to be...
He's letting him by, I think.
Giving up the position back. Maybe there was an early incident here that caused Dipping Sauce to give the position back to Saber Kitsune, but we're going to be taking a look at that later on. But anyways, a very respectable move here from Dipping Sauce to give that position back from an early instant here and getting them back into their previous positions.
Yeah, very very generous move as we catch up with the ARMS, and it is now Cohen and F-Spirit going to battle, as we see F-Spirit trying to make a move on the outside, trying to catch up to Blade Wolf there ahead. He's going to make a move on the inside. That's kind of dangerous. Oh, just a little bit of contact going on, exiting Montreal, but it looks like the turn is... as I say that, Beast is going to try to make another, or Cohen is going to make another move on the inside, and it's going to work out for them. They're battling 2 by 2, heading down into turn 4 of Agostini, and is Cohen going to let them by? Yes, I think so. They're going to let them by and head down into... yeah, they're letting them by into Hamilton, and that'll be that.
Yes, the cars of F-Spirit and Coin are indeed in different classifications here, so Coin probably thinking better of putting up too much of a defense on the silver car ahead here and just letting them by and just focusing on their own race. We do see the car number 366 of Weiss behind them, currently running P2 in the AM Championship. They are holding on currently on a very commanding lead into the AM Championship here, but with them currently in P2, that could still give an opportunity for Cohen, Z-Source, and Parcel behind them to get some run here. So if I do have another quick look at the AM Championship points here, it's going to be Cohen currently 9 points behind on Weiss ahead here. So if Cohen is able to hold on to this defense here and keep Weiss behind, that's going to be closing the gap here between the two AM drivers here and giving more of an opportunity for Cohen to maybe even get the AM Championship win here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just noticed when we were following, S-Spirit got a little loose heading down and onto the Bentley straight, but not a lot of time lost. But it might turn out that will help Weiss a little bit. As you can see, they are gaining, and as I say that, they take a little bit too much curb going out of Murray's, and I think they might have lost even more time because of it. But Cohen, I believe, is taking the safe strategy and is just sticking behind the bumper of or the tail of Spirit and using that draft to try to maybe pull away from Weiss there.
Yes, we see F-Spirit really trying their hardest to get the exits and get away from us. We see a yellow flag happening. That's going to be the car of Swingley, who has actually had a bit of a spin here. Let's see, take a look at the replay to see what happened with them. A quick look. We see them just going really wide and really overshooting their corner. I do believe that is the turn number 7 going up into the Bentley straight where they just lost it. And another really treacherous area here where if you don't get that exit just right here, you can easily just go wide and spin out. And that's what unfortunately happened to car number 46 of Swingley, who is currently now all the way down in last, but we're going to be coming back to them later. As we do see up ahead, it's going to be the car of Randomby and Lunatic still in their own fight as they go into the Bentley straight here. Randomby losing a few positions here in the Silver Championship here, currently running P3 in the Silver class, but eager to get back on the fight here and make a move here up on Lunatic. Ahead, we see them going up into turn 8 and turn 9 with a lot of destroyed brake markers here in that very dangerous Brundle and Nelson corners here. So it's going to be quite a big of a risk here for all of our drivers to keep their cars together and hopefully no avoiding any more. As we do see actually Katie now with another yellow flag. It's going to be another incident into that. Just as I was saying, this is going to be a different kind of commentator skirting happening with each time we mention that. It's going to be some car just going a bit too wide, bit too deep into turn 8 or turn 9, just causing an unfortunate spin with Newt almost hitting Katie ahead here. Yeah,
that was really close. That could have ended horribly for Kizzy. But they were able to hold firm, and that almost could have ended horribly. As we see, Katie is now back on track and right in front of Zzors, who was on pole, but now is P3, I believe. Yeah, P3 in AM. So they are just trying to make a little bit of a recovery drive because, if I remember right, they qualified pole in AM.
Yes, it was indeed Zzors who had the pole position in the qualifying session here, and unfortunately they had a few spins here and dropped a few positions here, but we are seeing them with a bit of a gap here between the P1 and P2 AM drivers of Cohen and Weiss here up ahead here, but there's still, I mean, we've seen very many incidents happening into many corners around here, especially going up into turn 8 and turn 9 here, so depending on how the race is going to be going here, we can see a couple more incidents going up into that tricky left-hand braking zone there, and giving more opportunities for our drivers to get some runs. As we see in the background, it's going to be 1V and Zephyr currently going side by side, going up into the main straight into turn 1 here with 1V on the outside. We have a bit of peak here, but seeing quite a lot of damage on that BMW after they had that spin and contact with the wall here, but able to get that move to stick anyway, and going back up into P5 in the AM class here, and making that charge now up onto Parzival ahead.
Yeah, you got a little ways to go, but this race isn't over yet. Still got plenty of time to try to make up the time lost as we catch up with Randomby and Lunatic. Randomby trying very hard to catch up with Luna, and it's been back and forth really between these two. There have been times where Luna's been ahead, and then there have been times where Randomby's been ahead. And then you can also notice that Vossi has just been kind of relaxing there and just keeping an eye out and waiting for a good opportunity to make a move.
Yes, indeed. And this is going to be quite an important fight for the Silver Championship here, with Dipping Sauce still holding on a pretty substantial lead here, and with them able to secure this win here, that would put them on another really big gap here, because we have their rival Newt all the way down in P9. That's going to be P5 in the Silver classifications here. So unless Newt is able to get a better run here, that's going to be opening up a massive gap between the P1 and P2 drivers in the Silver Championship here. So we're going to be watching that. We see a big bounce from Newt here going up in the turn 1 and going up on the grass here, but well held, they're keeping it together here. But we can see these drivers are just itching close to the track limits here, and paying very dearly if they just go over them.
Yeah, just all it took was for them to take that curve just a little bit wrong, and that car went rocketing. Also, you know, they're still going, and that's all that matters.
Exactly, yeah. We also see at the front of the grid, we have Plasma now able to open up a more of a gap into Grim Lilith behind, who's now currently almost 3 seconds behind again. On the car here, looking up on their previous best lap times here, we have Plasma with a 2-minute 7.5 and Grim behind with a 2-minute 8.4. So again, with Plasma now running in clean air and nobody else to bother them, they're just getting away. And with another cheeky flash here, I see, from then just holding on to that lead here and cruising in away for another comfortable lead so far.
Yeah, I think Plasma isn't particularly worried at this point if he's doing this. But, you know, at least he's enjoying himself. He is, in fact, enjoying himself, and that, I guess, is all that matters.
Yes, indeed. Maybe at least this time they're not picking up their phone and having more cheeky chats over here, so we're going to be watching and keep an eye on the chat here to see if they maybe have more incidents going on. We see down on the grid here, there's not gonna be many fights going on at the moment. Everybody opening up a bit of a gap between it, but we do see up in all the way down from P5 down into P9. There's a bit of a fight going on here between all of our competitors here. A bit of a gap opening up between them, but as we've seen with a lot of our cars here, it's just all it takes is just one mistake into turn 1, into turn 8. Turn 9, that's going to be opening this competition and these battles wide open, as we do see Dipping Sauce clawing that distance into Saber Kitsune ahead here and hoping to maybe have a bit of a peak here going up into turn 2. Not quite close enough for a move here, but we see Saber going a bit wide here, again compromising their exit and giving Dipping Sauce the opportunity to closing and get ready for a bit of a battle here with the Pro Driver ahead.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to gain a little bit of time away from Lunatic, because they've been closing slowly but surely closing the gap. As we see, speaking of closing the gap, we now have a battle for the lead in AM. It is between Weiss and Cohen. Cohen trying very hard to keep Weiss right behind him. As we see another battle randomly going on the inside of Lunatic. Is he gonna? No, he thought better of it. They were going to try to make a move down into Hamilton, but thought better of it. Now they're going to stick behind the bumper of Lunatic and try to maybe make a move, maybe down into turn 7, as we see them head down into Augie's and onto Williams. Is the gap going to increase or decrease? Oh, randomly got a little loose going out of Williams, which is going to cost them dearly as they head down into turn 1, or I'm sorry, the infamous turn 8, as it kind of evens out again.
Yes, we see that bit of a mistake from Randa be able to giving the Vossi the opportunity to close up a little bit, as we see a big slide going up on into the exit of turn 9 here from Randomly. Again, closing that gap between him and Vossi behind here, and now giving Vossi the opportunity to have a peek here. And we already saw, like, as soon as we looked away from the gap between, that was like, I think it was like a 1.5 second gap between Luna and Randomly here, but just one mistake, a bit too deep in a corner here, a bit of a slide going up into one exit here. That's gonna close that gap immediately. As you see a big slide from Vossi on the background there, hoping to get that good exit here into turn 12 and just inching it closer, hoping to have another move on the fellow cat ahead here, but not quite within striking distance yet here. We also see in the background, we see Weiss and Cohen still in their own fight for AM race lead here. A bit of a gap forming between them as well. Cohen still holding on strong. Both of them on currently invalid laps here, but we see in the background, I think Weiss is going to be the one with a slightly faster pace here. So if he can keep his all 4 tires on the road here and keep his car in one piece, we might see another move here from Weiss to get past Cohen.
Yeah, Cohen has been, I think, just trying to keep his line as good as he can, and now they are slowly but surely pulling away. I think what helped was down into Murray's, I noticed that Weiss kind of took too much curb, bounced and went fairly wide, and unfortunately it lost all that momentum they had. But now they're slowly trying to claw their way back as they head down into turn 3 of Palmer. And I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Yes, indeed. We're watching also up at the head of the pack here. We have Dippy Sauce still trying to make a bit of a gap here, close in that gap between Saber Kitsune ahead here, but not making much headway. Looking at their lap times so far, they're both almost equal lap times here, with Saber Kitsune doing a 208.4 and Dipping Sauce with a 208.4 as well here. So it probably requires another mistake from Saber Kitsune to give the opportunity for Dipping Sauce to get a overtake done here, with Wushul ahead here also running at a 208.8. So it could be possible that Wushul may be falling behind a little bit on Saber Kitsune and opening up the championship battle between them as well here. And we're also seeing in the back that's going to be the car number 46 of Swingley slowly catching up on Crest ahead here, as we see them going up into turn 2 here, with Crest going up really wide up into turn 2 and giving the better chance for Swingley to catch up and hopefully gain a bit more position. As we see Wiesen over here with another spin going up into turn 8. That's going to be another spin here. Let's see, look up on the replay to see what happened here. We see them again, it's gonna be that infamous turn 8. Once again, catching our competitor off guard here, overshooting really bad, going up into the braking zone of turn 9, and unfortunately losing the position, but keeping their car together in one piece and getting back on that charge ahead to hopefully catch up on to the current current leader in the AM class.
Is it wrong of me to immediately, when I saw that, immediately know what happened? Because it was almost a mirror image of what happened earlier with Weiss. They just took way too much speed going into turn 9, and they just went incredibly wide. But good on them for saving it. But that was a bit intense.
Yeah, only a little bit. I have hearing a lot of comments from all the competitors about how inconsistent braking can be going into turn 8 and turn 9, where at one point you feel like you're braking at the exact same time, but on one turn you overshoot the corner and you go a bit too fast, and on the other corner you're going to be braking too early and losing a lot of time here. But for all our experienced drivers up ahead of the grid here, I would hope that they're able to compensate for that and just keep the car right on that exact balance to get the braking done here. We actually did see that mistake from Plasma as well at one point here. So while the pro drivers may have some more experience, it's going to be issue for all of our competitors here to get that braking done right into turn 8 and turn 9, as we see Swingley closing the gap here onto Crest ahead here, coming right up onto the bumper as we see them going up onto the Senna straight here. But maybe have a bit of a peak here going up into turn 1. We see them closer. Now with coming up, Swingley actually now going up with a bit of a peak on the inside and diving in with Crest taking a wide line on the outside and seeming to yield that position quite easy for giving Swingley the opportunity to make an easy pass.
Yeah, I think they didn't really want this fight, so they decided to let him by because that was a really wide line. Another thing I'd like to point out, we have about 5 minutes left, and we've had a lot of cars go wide, spin, and everything else. So the question I'm wondering is, how good are these guys' tires? Because something tells me there are probably tires that are not very happy at the moment. And is that going to play a role later down the line when we get toward maybe like the 3-minute mark, the 2-minute mark, when the people are going to be trying to make those last-minute moves at the end?
I mean, the wet tires are usually much more durable than the dry weather equivalents here, so I'm not going to be expecting much issue with tire wear here. It's going to be mostly just an issue of keeping them in the right temperature, in the right window here. Just going a lot here on these curbing here, going up on the grass here, and just keeping them in that right window, especially into the braking zones of turn 8 and turn up, which is probably why the inconsistent braking happens there in that corner complex here, with how the temperatures are not always the exact right amount for us to get the optimum braking. So as we see Saber Kitsune finally able to catch up onto the rear bumper of Wushul ahead here, as we see them going up into turn 5 and into turn 6. Saber again getting a bit of a better exit, trying to close that gap as we see them going around turn 6, cutting that curbing, actually leaving quite wide here, trying to just get yourself set up for a good exit into turn 7 and into the Bentley straight here. We see, as we watch them on their bonnet cam here, hoping to get that slipstream here and get that move done on Wushul.
Yeah, we're heading down toward the Bentley straight. It's going to be nice. We'll just hope that, knock on wood, they don't try to make a move where nothing bad happens as they break into turn 8, into turn 9, nice and easy. A little bit deep from Wushul, but nothing too bad. It's allowed Saber, though, to catch right up as they head down into turn 10. Saber keeping the inside line as much as they can, probably setting themselves up maybe for a move going out of Murray's as they now reach Coram, heading down into the turn 12. Murray's a little deep, trying to make up a little bit of room. Is it going to play out for them? Maybe. They are now in the draft of Wushul. It could be anyone's game. They're looking on the inside of Wushul, defending on the inside as well. Now Saber's going to try to make a move for the outside. Is it going to work? It's right on the bumper. Here we go into turn 1. They're 2x2 going into turn 1 in the riches. Who's going to come out with the better line? I think it's going to be Saber, and yes, it is going to be Saber, or I think it was going to be Saber. Wushel has now made a move, keeping themselves in P3.
Yes, the turn 1 braking zone is a potential overtaking area for these competitors to take it, but it requires a lot of bravery and for the car head to give a bit of a respect and keep that space open for a car inside to have that move on the inside, because if they just go a bit too close together, it's a very easy place to have contact and for both cars to just go spinning here, as we've seen a couple times happening here in going up into turn. As we see in the back, and there's going to be Katie able to finally get an overtake up on going ahead here, getting back on that shot to go through the silver gate and hopefully recover as many points as they can from their unfortunate spins. As you see, Reese in the back and also catching up onto the AM class leader so far, going up into the Bentley straight here. Apologies, there's going to be turn 3, actually not the Bentley straight here. Going up closer here. He's just hoping to get something here, but not quite getting that exit to work here, and losing more speed and time into going ahead here. Who's currently holding on a very commanding lead here, and I don't think we've seen a single mistake from Cohen so far. They've had just a very solid, confident race here, able to get their car into the right position where they want here, and just out-driving all the other cars who have spun out in various parts of the track.
Yeah, Cohen has just been kind of doing his own thing. He's not been really worried about the people behind him. He's not really been pushing either. He's been keeping the perfect balance of both consistency and good times, and it has worked out through section. As we see Blade Wolf try to go deep, going into what I believe that is turn 9. It is drastically helped them as we see this little fight with Newt as they head toward turn 11. I don't think there's going to be a move here unless Newt makes a mistake, but Blade is really going to try. They are deep inside turn 11 as they set up for Murray's. It's going to be incredibly it's going to be interesting as unfortunately I think Blade had a very awkward exit going out of Murray's, and unfortunately has lost a lot of time as we now follow the battle with Randomie and Lunatic. They are heading out onto Montreal, and Randomie's going to try maybe to gain a little bit more time, but I don't see them making a move anytime soon. What they're going into as they get a little loose heading out of turn 3. They have 1 minute to make a move, and this is where things get very interesting.
Indeed, we also see in the background it's going to be Weiss now finally able to catch up on the bumper of Coin, going up side by side into turn 2 here. Weiss with a dive up on the inside, Coin up on the outside, holding it strong here, going deep with them, almost them two competitors touching here, with still going on strong here. Now Cool now on the inside for going up into turn 3, hoping to get that cut back on here, but Weiss able to hold on just enough here to cut that nose off from Coin. As we see the going really wide, they're compromising their exit, giving Coin the opportunity to have a better acceleration, going up side by side again, going up into the braking zone of turn 4 here. In the 9 minutes of this race here, the AM fight is on, with Weiss now losing that position again to Cohen up into turn 4, now hoping to just trying their best to find a move anywhere on this track here to get that win.
Yeah, all it's going to take is one little mistake from Cohen, but Cohen has just been keeping it nice and cool, doing an incredible job of keeping Weiss behind him as we follow yet another battle. This is one's between Saber and Wushel. Wushel trying to address this. Saber goes for a deep dive going down into Murray's. That was so close, but they lost so much time from it. They couldn't get a really good exit, and now all that time gained is now gone as we see Wushel just pulling away. I don't see. Oh, as we see, that's Swingley. I think that is Swingley. I don't know what happened. We're going to take a look at the replay. Here we go, coming down into turn 1 as they come in, and I think they just took a little bit of too much curve, maybe? No. Here we go. They're heading down into turn 2, Montreal. Oh, they just took too much speed going into Montreal and went really, really wide and spun. And that's incredibly unfortunate for them.
Yes, that's going to be quite unfortunate, but we do see we still here in the rear bumper of Cohen, still now having another look up on into the
And this
center
is for
stage
the
here, trying to have another move here now, now on the outside here, hoping to get that better up going up into the outside part of turn 1 and maybe even turn 2, actually with a... Ooh, the two competitors touching now, Kuhn, able to hold that car together despite that contact, and now he's yet again on another charger. Cohen just keeping his elbows out as wide as possible on this surprisingly narrow track here, just doing everything he can to keep this AM class win here in the lead here in the final lap of the race.
Yeah, this is one lap to go, and they are incredibly close. They are, Weiss is trying their very best to try to find that one move, but Cohen is not having any of it. They have been keeping their consistency the entire time, and I think that consistency is what's going to get them the win as we follow Plasma. They are now down on the turn 11, down into turn 12. It's going to be a nice and easy run for Plasma, well, other than that little incident in the turn 8, but it does not matter. Plasma is going to come across the line as today's winner here at Snetterton.
Yeah, well done from him. We see in the bracket it's going to be Grimlith coming up in a 3 to 4 second gap here behind them, and it's not really commanding position with now it's going to be this car of Swingley here in P19 and Crest behind them going up into P20, but back around we also see Saber Kitsune getting really close up on the bumper of Wushu, but not quite able to get that move going here, and unfortunately keeping that P4 position overall. We also see Dipping Sauce now getting the silver class win here in P1 with Lunatic coming up in P6 and Vanderbeek right behind them in P7 and Vossi in P8. A bit further back here we see Nude still able to, not quite as good of a race here as he would have hoped here, but still getting a really respectable P4 in silver and P8 overall here as we see them going up over the finish line now with Blade now coming up into P10 and F-Spirit coming. We also have a couple of disconnections, so we're not quite sure what the position are here, but we see F-Spirit, Weiss in the background still trying their best to get a fight here going up into the final straight here, but I don't believe that's going to be enough. It's going to be Cohen.
It might be. Oh no, yeah. No. It looked like there was going to be a move, but no.
Not quite that, but Cohen able to hold on strong here, keeping their head calm in very chaotic conditions here, and able to get that AM classification with her very well done. As we see Parzival coming up quite far behind here in the P4 position here. We also had Z-Source here able to claim P3 on the AM class here as we're waiting for our final competitors go around the track here. A very, very exciting race so far. It calmed down a little bit towards the latter half here, but the first half of the track certainly saw quite a lot of action.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the big thing about this was turn 8 and turn 9. It caught everybody off guard, including even Plasma, who took it way too deep and actually went into the grass. But even with that, they were able to recover and collect the win. But I mean, those two set of corners just really messed with everybody.
Absolutely, indeed. Now we are seeing our final competitor, car number 7 of Zephyr, crossing the finish line in, that's going to be P16 in the race here. So well done from all of our drivers. It was a very chaotic race here for sure, and unfortunately we had a couple of disconnections from Kizzy and MN_ retiring early on here, but again, a big congratulations for Plasma getting another dominant win in Snetterton here, and despite that mistake, they were able to just claw it back with a very Max Verstappen-like, as we see, almost go with a big contact from the two competitors. That's going to be the C-Source here, right on the middle of the track here with, that's going to be not looked upon favorably by the stewards.
I don't think I honestly don't know if that was... That's the weird thing. I don't know if the race was over, because I did see a flash, but who knows? But it definitely will be looked at by the stewards. That was very poor of Plasma, as we see. So he stops at the line, cuts in, doesn't see Z-Source, and yeah, that's it.
Actually, I do believe that was the 777 car of Crest who was in that incident here, but not a good look on our current championship leader here to see that kind of thing happening here, but that's going to be discussed by the stewards later on after this race session here. But I want to be saying a big thank you to everybody here for a very, very nice one here. It was a very fun race to commentate here for sure, and hoping to see some more of this exciting action here as we go next time. That's going to be a very dark night race in Silverstone.
I think you and I have both raced Silverstone before. A very fun track. It'll be interesting to see how these cars handle out these Silverstone. It's definitely going to be causing very close racing like we've seen. and it's a very respectable track. So I'm excited. This is going to be good.
Absolutely indeed, but that's going to be it for all of our commentary for tonight here. Also, you can stay tuned for the next wedge race that's going to be happening in Brands Hatch in our GT4 classification next week's Friday. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm going to be wishing you all a very pleasant day ahead of yourself. My name has been Denak, joined alongside by my co-commentator Wolfin Foxdale, and wishing you all good night.